Welcome back everybody to Hayes Tech and ROM Reviews. My name is Dave Hayes and this is the channel where we talk about pretty much anything tech. If you guys remember, I did a review and it wasn't too long ago, about a year or so ago, and I got a lot of watches on YouTube over this and a lot of comments. And that item was the DragonTouch 4K action camera for like 40 bucks. Very cheap action camera. And I still use it today. I love this little camera, but it's got some major downfalls. So what happened was DragonTouch came out with an update to that camera. And wait until we get into this. You are going to be amazed at the updates that this thing's got for $50. We'll go over that when we come back.
And as always, remember to like, share, and subscribe. You hit that notification icon to get a notification of my videos as soon as they're released. That way you don't miss any of them.
But the DragonTouch action camera, 4K action camera, starts out, again, like the one I purchased right here, at about $45. So tax and everything and shipping, 50 bucks. You guys have seen some of my reviews I did. I did a review of an Akaso camera, which I love. I mean, that is a GoPro killer there. To me, Akaso has a nice camera. But again, I'm just drawn back to my DragonTouch. I love it so much. And when I saw this, that they had an update to this, and in the update there is image stabilization in it now, I figured I might as well pick it up. It's $50, and that's it. $50 shipped from Amazon, and just give it a try. No guys, this is not going to be a GoPro. It's a cheap action camera. But if you guys watched my other video, and I know a lot of you have, everybody liked the camera, even back then with its limited capabilities. But the upgrades, it's still 16 megapixel, it's got 170-degree field of view. It is waterproof in its case, remember, in its case, up to 98 feet. And remember, with this camera, unlike a GoPro or some of the other higher dollar name cameras, this comes with everything you need in order to shoot underwater. So you buy the camera and that's it. You may have to buy a stick to hold it or whatever, but everything you need to shoot with comes in this box right here. Everything. So getting back to the features on it, this one, unlike the original one, comes with Wi-Fi, so that's another bonus. The looks are a little bit different. They did change a few things around. And I'm going to try to go over some of the specs that they have listed on the box on the back. It has a 16 megapixel image sensor. It's a CMOS sensor. Now, under video resolution, it says EIS 4K 30 frames per second. So image stabilization is supported under their 4K 30 frames per second. 2.7K at 30 frames per second. And then 1080p at 60 frames per second. I would have loved to have seen this like my Akaso, which would shoot, I think it was 120 frames per second. That would be great for slow motion video. And then 1080p, 30 frames per second. And then 720p, 120 frames per second. I don't like to shoot slow motion video at 720p. In my opinion, if you're going to shoot slow motion video, you want to have it at least 1080p, and that's just my opinion. I've seen some pretty good video, slow motion video in 720p, but they had a lot better sensors and lenses than this thing had. So what I figured I'd do is I'd go ahead and unbox this. I'd let you guys see what all it comes in it, and again, my guess is pretty much the same stuff is going to come with this DragonTouch that came with the Akaso and my original DragonTouch. And again, remember, this camera is only $50. I will put the link to this camera down below, so if you are interested in picking it up, I will give you all the links for you all to pick it up. I also wanted to throw a real quick disclaimer out there right now. For those of you that follow me already know, I don't script, okay? I hate scripting. I tried it a couple times, and I just didn't like it. I ended up going off script anyways. I may say or a couple of times, more than other people do. But that's just me. I'm not an actor. If you guys want to watch videos that are perfect then I suggest somebody else's channel because they have an actor performing, and and they have a big giant budget. I'm a one-man crew. I do all the recording, I do all the photography, the videography, I do it all. But enough about how I do video. What do you say we go ahead and rip into this, open this thing up, and see what DragonTouch is giving us now in their upgraded version. So let's go ahead and jump to that. Okay, well, here we are. We are going to go ahead and open this bad boy up. I do have my older DragonTouch, in the background, so you guys can kind of see that. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get this open, and I want to see basically what the camera looks like different and things like that. So let's go ahead and open it. I know a lot of you like unboxings. I am not a big fan of them. Alright, got the plastic off, and I'm just going to go ahead and pop the top. And yes, I'm only running with one camera this time. Just going to try to make it simple. And again, it's just like the other one is. It's a very simple packaging. There is your camera and the waterproof housing that's to come in, and then of course in the box is going to be the box of goodies right there. And I am going to go ahead and empty this all out. Do not eat that. I'm telling you right now, you eat that, you will die. That is bad, bad stuff. So we're going to throw that now. I think it's crazy. People talk about it. Everybody ships it with their items. It's all it is it keeps moisture out of your packaging. This is the charger. It does come with 2 batteries, which is awesome. So charger, batteries, and they actually even send, oh, and here's the microphone that comes with it. And I didn't know they were going to do that. But it's nice that they do include a microphone with this camera. That's awesome. I had to pay extra for the one for the Acosta. So there it is. It's a kind of like a lapel microphone. All kinds of different attachments for the camera. Bicycle handlebar attachment, or basically any kind of tube that will go around it. And they do have the peel off sticky mounts, like I put one on the dash of my truck. Another one, this one also has a 1/4-inch mount where you can screw it to your tripod or whatever. This is a snap-on case that you can put on a tripod. That basically the camera just snaps right into it. I'll open up some of these and let you see it. And here is a Velcro strap, some more Velcro straps, extra door, charging cable, and some zip ties and extra sticky packs. And of course the guide. Nothing else is in there. And it just says, we want to hear from you. So if you have any questions, concerns about your camera that you purchased from them, how to claim or make a claim, whatever, this is instructions for that. And of course, this is the instructions to the camera itself. So let's go ahead and, let's go ahead and open up the camera. And I'm wondering if the batteries out of my old DragonTouch will work in this one. It's not lined up 100%, but you plug it in there, then your batteries just plug into the top of that, like this, and the batteries actually look different too. They're a different color, but these just push down into the charger like that. And I'm gonna see how much. I'm hoping that at least one of these batteries have juice enough for me to get this thing fired up. So let's go ahead and take the camera out. But just like the other DragonTouch, the case is almost identical. So it just you basically flip the top open like this and peel the back down. Come on, there we go. And pull that out. Set that to the side. On the back of the camera, it says getting started, and we're going to go ahead and peel this off. So there's the sticker. I can't remember whether this has a touch screen or not. I don't think it does. Don't quote me on that. I do know that the more expensive one, they sell one of these for about $70. I think that one has a touch screen. I think that's the only difference between the two. But this is your screen. This is going to be where you put your battery at. You just kind of push in on the little tab and pull up on it. Whoops. I'm going to go ahead and pop in a battery. Hopefully it has enough juice to power it up. Just like that. And I got to find a memory card for it. I'm going to go ahead and peel that off. This is your mode button right there. Of course, there's your lens. Here's where you would plug the microphone into. It would plug right into this little port right here. Now, I don't like the fact that it's proprietary. I'm hoping that my microphones will work in that as well. I'm guessing it's not, since this is only a one ring, and most microphones are either a 2 or 3 ring microphone. TRS. This is just your single ring. So your charging port, old style USB, and of course this is where your SD card goes into. And this is going to be your mode button in getting through the settings on it. So let's go ahead and power it up and see if there is any charge in the battery. So okay, I did manage to get it powered up, but the screen doesn't come up for some reason when it's first powered up. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit the power button on top once to bring the screen up. I did turn the image stabilization on, but basically you navigate to where you want to go. Video resolution right now is 4K 30. You want to change that, you hit the top button. It gives you all your options, and you use the buttons on the side to scroll through which one you want. It says press the shutter button to exit. So we are now exited. And there's the screen. Now it's telling me I do not have a card in it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and find a card. Let's go ahead and head outside and see what this thing looks like. Okay, we are now going to show you all the different modes that this camera comes in. Shooting modes, 4K, 2.7, 1080p, and 720p. And right now I'm shooting in 2.7K. 30 frames per second, because I think that is the best image that this camera gives, and that's usually what I like to shoot. Unless it's really sunny out, then I like to go 4K 30. And also, you guys can see that the outside weather, this is not pristine weather for anybody to be shooting in with an action camera, especially a cheap one. But even GoPro has trouble. So what we're going to do right now, and also let me get it out of the way, I am recording with my external microphone that comes with this camera. Again, a $50 camera, and it even supplies the microphone. Can you zoom in on that? Perfect? Okay. Alright, so what do you say we go ahead and switch to 4K 30 frames per second, and I'll let you guys see what that looks like. Okay, we are now shooting in 4K 30 frames per second. Of course, I'm always shooting 4K 30 frames per second on my Canon M50. But I want to let you guys see what it looks like. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk, and I'm going to let you see what the stabilization looks like. And remember, I wobble a lot when I walk. So I'm giving this stabilization a really good test. Now, I'm going to do a swing. And there you are. Let's say hi to the camera behind me. This is 4K 30 frames per second. And again, the optimal shooting conditions are not met right now. It really sucks. So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and switch to 1080p, 60 frames per second, and we're going to let you see what that looks like. And remember, I do have image stabilization turned on this camera. I'm going to have image stabilization turned on completely throughout this whole thing. Of course, image stabilization is not on the M50, but anyway, it doesn't matter. So what do you say we go ahead and go to 1080p, 60 frames per second? Okay, well, I kind of jumped the gun. We're going to, this right now is 2.7K, 30 frames per second. And I wanted to do this in order so it looked right, okay? So we did 4K 30 first. Now this is 2.7K second, and we're going to do 1080p 60, 1080p 30, and then the 720p 100 frames per second. And I'm going to do like a swirl so we can slow it down and see how the slow motion works. So we're going to walk with it right now. Remember, this is the 2.7K in 30 frames per second, and the image stabilization is on, and it will be turned on throughout this entirety. I will not be shutting it off for any reason whatsoever, and just to give you guys an idea of what it looks like. And also, I do apologize for the wind noise right now. It is very windy out. So right now we're going to go ahead and switch to 1080p 60 frames per second. Okay, we are now shooting in 1080p 60 frames per second. Now, if I was going to be doing any slow motion video, this would probably be what I would doing. I could slow this down in post by 2 times. That would drop to 1080p 30 frames per second. In reality, it's kind of confusing, but anyways, we're going to go ahead and walk, and I'm going to let you guys see what the image stabilization looks like right now on 1080p 60 frames per second. I'm going to do a turnaround, head back the other way. My yard is really unlevel, so, and plus I walk like really bad, so, and it's cold out and I'm shivering like a dog shitting razor blades. So this gives you a really good idea of what the 1080p 60 frames per second looks like. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and switch to the 1080p 30 frames per second before my fingers freeze. So let's go ahead and switch to that now. Okay, we are now shooting in 1080p 30 frames per second, and this is going to be what most people shoot. Right now I'm shooting 4K on my Canon M50 in 30 frames per second, and most people that do YouTube videos and whatever mostly shoot in 30 or 24 frames per second. I like 30 or above, so I'm going to go ahead and walk with this right now to give you an idea of what the image stabilization looks like. Now remember, the image stabilization is not going to be as good as if we were out in a really nice sunny day. It's just the way action cameras work. Thank you, loud truck. But it's just the way action cameras work, and the better lighting you have, so on and so forth, that's what gives you your good, smooth image stabilization. The GoPros are the same way. So this gives you an idea of the 1080p 30 frames per second. Now we're going to go ahead and drop to the worst setting, image quality wise, and that's 720p, but it's 120 frames per second, which means I can really slow it down in post. So let's go ahead and switch to that. We are now shooting in 720p 120 frames per second. So I should, in theory, be able to slow this way down and get a really nice slow motion image. Now, the image quality is not going to be as good as 1080p or above, but it is still considered true HD. So this is going to give you an idea of what it looks like. I'm trying to walk around. Again, my yard is very uneven. I'm not even sure that image stabilization works at 720p 120 frames per second, because even on the GoPro, it doesn't. So this gives you an idea of what it looks like. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a pretty good spin. Hello? and now we're going to damn. I'm going to slow that down so we can get a good shot of what it looks like in slow motion, because if you're going to shoot slow motion, you want to shoot in a high frame rate, like at least 60 frames per second, but I would go 120, 240 would be awesome. And then what you do is you slow that down in post, or you use your slow motion editing software in post, and with that many frame rates, it makes it look smooth and unscrewed up, as opposed to taking a 1080p 30 frames per second video and slowing that down. It would look terrible. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go back into 2.7K, and we're going to go ahead and finish this outside vlogging test. Okay, we are back in 2.7K 30 frames per second, and again, I do have the image stabilization turned on. This is my favorite way to vlog in for these cheaper action cameras. I even like it better on the GoPro, to be honest with you. But when we have weather that looks like that and skies that are really cloudy, you want to drop down into 2.7K. It just makes the video look better, in my opinion. And opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one. So it's just an opinion, guys. So what we're going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and go back inside and thaw out. Noah, thank you so much for being my second camera guy. what we're going to do now is I'm just going to go in the house, we're going to finish this up, and on the next video that I do on this camera, we're going to do some underwater footage and let you guys see what this looks like and sounds like underwater. So before we freeze, let's go back in the house. Well, everybody, I hope you liked the video, and I hope you actually learned a little bit about the DragonTouch 4K new camera. And make no mistake, this is basically their same low-end model, but they've added like image stabilization and so on and so on. Now, the one thing I don't like about this camera is it only has one view. You cannot crop it out, smaller, or go even wider. It's just got one view. So basically, what you get is what you get, and you have to work with it. Now, is that an issue? It depends on what you're going to use the camera for. I think if you're going to use it for a action camera and, mount it to your helmet, and you're on a bicycle and all that, I think you might want to go with the upgraded version. I think it's like $75, and that has more views, or more angles, I guess I should say. But looking at the camera the way it is right now, and the way it was that I remember from my old DragonTouch, there is definitely some major improvements in it, and I think they did a hell of a good job, and I commend them for it. So if you guys are looking for a really nice action camera for only $50 that has image stabilization and a microphone, I highly suggest getting a DragonTouch. But as I stated earlier in the video, if you can afford to hold out a little bit and save up a little bit of money, say about $100, $120, then I would highly recommend going with the Akaso V50 Pro, because in my opinion, that's one of the best budget action cameras on the market today, bar none. And there are a lot of them out there. And I plan on actually doing reviews on some of those other cameras. As a matter of fact, the one I was talking about, the DragonTouch upgraded version, that's like $70, $75. After Christmas, we're going to purchase one of those and put it through its paces. So be looking for that video. But as it is right now, without going into further detail, I can definitely say it's worth purchasing. I've always liked the DragonTouch cameras, and this one is no different and just goes above and beyond. But I am going to be doing some more videos on it, and those videos are more going to be into video quality. I'm going to be doing underwater footage. If I can get, I need to find a place I can do underwater footage, because it's winter outside right now, 20 degrees. A lot of places are frozen over. But be looking for those videos to come. That's pretty much all I have. I do want to thank those of you that are new to my channel. And if you like the video, considering subscribing. And if you do subscribe, don't forget to hit that notification bell icon. That way you guys get notified of any videos as soon as I release them. And I do want to put a special thank you out there for those of you that are subscribed to my channel. And especially to those of you that's been with me from the start. I really do appreciate it. And I really don't know how to thank you, because it's just awesome that you guys have been with me for this long. Stroke update. I'm not getting much more feeling in my right side than when I talked to you last time. But I am hoping for more. And I'm hoping that I get more of my short-term memory back, because with the short-term memory that I have right now, I just cannot do ROM reviews at this point in time. But I am planning on getting that back. Doctors tell me that I should still have time to regain some of that back. Enough about my stroke, though. I want to thank you all for watching. Be looking for the video version of this camera, showing you all the video options and shooting angles and stuff. So be looking for that. And again, I just want to thank you all for watching. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's. I will see you all on the next one.